Changes coming to Ontario's political financing. I'm Brian Lilly with the Rebel.media. Well, it's a bit of a shock, a bit of a surprise, isn't it? Ontario's Liberal Premier Kathleen Wynne announcing that she's getting ready to bring in sweeping changes to how Ontario funds their political parties. The Liberals have been getting a lot of heat lately. Just today, a column in the Toronto Red Star, the official newspaper of the Liberal Party, chastising them for having donation targets, fundraising targets for key cabinet ministers. Charles Sousa, Eric Hoskins, these guys tasked with bringing in $500,000 a year. Others told they have to bring in $250,000 a year minimum. And of course, there was a lot of heat felt by Liberals over a Liberal-friendly lobbyist organizing an industry event for people on the energy sector to meet and dine with Bob Chiarelli, the energy minister, if they're willing to plop down just $6,000 per person. That made it look like the Liberals were selling access. So they've been under a lot of heat. Now they say a sweeping package coming by the fall. Much of it, Wynne promises, will be in place by the next election. The devil's going to be in the details. I'm not going to sit here and say this is all good or all bad. We know that union money, especially, has had a corrupting influence in Ontario politics over the last several election cycles. Just look at the fact that unions spent more than any single party in the last provincial campaign, all to get Kathleen Wynne elected, all to shut down Tim Hudak and the Conservatives, and you see that there's a problem. All right, so what are the changes going to be? Well, I want to read to you from one quote that Wynne made while speaking to reporters, and this is what has me concerned. She says, "It will include transitioning away from corporate and union donations, lowering the annual donation limit, and at the same time, keeping the transparency measures in place on real-time reporting." I'm all for real-time reporting. I want to know where these guys are getting paid, who's paying them off, what kind of influence are people buying. That's important. And I'm not actually dogmatic on the issue of whether corporations or unions should be allowed to donate. It hasn't hurt the federal parties. They seem to be able to get more than enough money to run very expensive campaigns, all without union or corporate money, even the New Democrats. But transitioning away, to me, that makes it sound like Kathleen Wynne wants to go the Jean Chrétien route, a per-vote subsidy, taxpayers footing the bill for partisan operations by political parties. I'm not in favor of this, and I argued against it even when the party I favor most was the biggest beneficiary. The Conservatives did away with the per-vote subsidy, even though, while they were winning the 2006 election, the 2008, and the 2011 election, they received the most votes. They were getting the most money. But the fact is, it's simply wrong. If this ends up being a bridge of give them 4 or 5 years to transition away, and then the per-vote subsidy disappears, I'm all for that. But if it is a permanent fixture, then that's something to be opposed. The other thing to look for here is whether the new rules help independent candidates or if they only solidify the powers of the parties. This is something that politicians do all the time. They create rules that help parties, but not the independent politician, not the person that says, I want to run, but I don't want to be in any of your clubs. The rules are already stacked in many provinces, and they're definitely stacked at the federal level. This is an opportunity for all Ontarians, regardless of party, to come forward and try and craft new rules that don't include buying access at $6,000 a head at an industry-only event to lobby the minister who's regulating your very business. That's not the way politics should operate, but we need to make sure, as they look at changing the rules, that it's done in a fair and transparent manner.
Thanks for watching. Click here to never miss a Rebel update. Want even more of the Rebel? Well, click here to become a premium member.